Live. Are we? Hey, looks like I'm live on Movie Crap Live. Guess I'm waiting. Guess I'm a little early. Forgot I set it to 10:35, but is it gonna break? Am I recording into the abyss? Should I have chilled for a couple minutes? No? Guess I'm a little early. Forgot I set it to 10:35, but is it gonna break? Can everyone hear me okay? I hope we could. Should I have chilled for a couple minutes? Sounds good. No? Alright, let me send out the tweet saying I'm here. I'm glad everyone's here. Hello, Courtney, Ryan, Jordan Salafalo, Bruce Parker, Nathaniel Fogo, Zodberg, everybody. Yeah. Alright, so. Oh, I forgot. I just realized the story. Well, I remembered it, so it's fine. Anyway. Alright, let's switch to the main. Hey! Hello, everyone. Welcome to Movie Crap Live. Your usual, I guess, Saturday kind of thing where we talk about movie news. I hope you can hear me good. I sound great. Thank you very much for that, Courtney. Jesus B. Optimus Rimjob gave me a cool story today, and I'm excited to do it. Not plausible. Eric Peralta, I think. Alright, so I'm very happy to be here on Movie Crap Live. I'm very happy. Austin, I didn't see you in the... See, I just... Sorry, Austin. How's it going, Austin? Part-time memer, M-Blood T. Buster's here. I might have to take early. Let's show Buster off. Early in the show, it's Buster. Anytime I'm filming anything. Why is Mini Jim so far? I like to have him talk to someone in the back. It's my new thing. Best part of my Saturday from Austin. That was a super chat, Buster. Can you believe that? He always likes to come in when I'm shooting a video. So I figured, let's give him a spotlight since he wants it so bad, right? You're very uncomfortable with this. Alright. Alright. Well, that was the first super chat. Best part of my Saturday from Austin. Best part is seeing you guys. Cheers to you. Ah, there we go. I need those Red Bull wings. They don't sponsor me, but I mean, it'd be nice. Anyway, I mean, it would. I don't know. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. I guess it's been a week as everyone. It's crazy for everyone right now. Brought a Sonic Energy to drink with you. Gotta go fast. Thank you very much, Ransam Film. Thank you. Sonic's gotta go fast, of course. Oh, thank you, Abe C. I love you too. You're awesome. All right. So, yeah, it was just a normal week. Kind of making it through. It's weird sort of sometimes going outside. I feel like it's hard for, I don't know, it's just weird because people have weird attitudes when you go outside right now, when you just have to buy food. But, I'm not sure, it's weird. Oh, Optimus Rimjob. Yo, Jim, Clerks the Animated Series Reboot. Alright, Optimus Rimjob. So this is the story. First off, $20 off the bat. Thank you very much, Optimus Rimjob. Cheers to you. So, how about this? You gave me the $20 super chat. All that was very nice of you. And you were the one who told me, and you're being insistent. What happened to your Audible sponsorship, Zane Powers? Cheers to you. Alright, well, I'll do that, and then I'll do Optimus Rimjob. I still have it. It's just a simple link you can do. Just nobody signed up. So, that's what happened. That's all. But I haven't used the link in a while because nobody's doing it. Anyway, Optimus Rimjob brought up this story to me, and it's a cool story. So I don't know if you've known, but there's a lot of talk in the entertainment industry about doing more animation because, it's easier because you can not have to deal with people, and you can do that in quarantine. Buster is getting a little dangerous with the wires. All right, hopefully you chilled. He's knocked over mics before when I've had meetings at work, which is a lot of fun. But so animation is becoming more of a prevalent. We'll just do the story and then I'll do the introductions. But this is a cool story because animation is, obviously you can do it at home, you can do it in quarantine. Kevin Smith, who's already developing Mallrats 2, Clerks 3, is talking about possibly developing a Clerks animated series because he can do it in quarantine. It felt like something... It felt like something. Trevor Reed, thank you very much for the super chat. Love the Speed Racer video. How did Monster Trucks bomb the possible video? I don't know about that, but that's a good idea. Cheers to you. Thank you, Trayvon Reed. That's very nice of you. Guys, I'll get to. Let me do Austin Rimjob's thing. I'll talk about the Discord, all those things. Don't worry. He's very insistent, and he did bring this up to me. It made me think. So, Kevin Smith has said he's thinking about developing a reboot of the Clerks animated series, which is an animated series I really like. I really like it quite a lot. And that makes me excited. I'm curious, though. He brings up a lot of projects, and I think he's just saying it because he did get his Mallrats 2 script done. This is a possibility of things he could do, and maybe a streamer or so forth would be more into making 6 episodes of something because they know it can be done, because he knows all these people. And Kevin Smith is good at economically making things, so I could see it happening. But it's something he's actually considering, which is really cool because I love the Clerks animated series. I actually watched it when it premiered, and one day I will do a review and get into more of the things with that. I actually saw it early during a talk with Kevin Smith. I'll talk about that later. Anyway, talk now. What? Anyway, so that was a weird interruption to talk about a story that I was going to talk about later, but thank you. Can't wait for you. Okay. I'm excited to talk to you too, Ran Sam Film. Happy birthday to you. I know that's coming up this week, so happy birthday to you, Ran Sam Film. So, before we get into the real topics, this is, as always, I'm like totally discombobulated, but I feel like the show works better when I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And, that's what you came for. I hope someone is like, I don't know, I've never checked out Jim's stream before, and then I'm going, blah, 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 blah. So, first off, check out the Discord. It is a great place to go to hang out with. Likewise, Clerks 3 not happening? See, I didn't get to listen to the whole thing. You sent it to me. It was a little too much craziness. It said in the thing that I saw. Anyway, He-Man, that's fine. I'd prefer He-Man than Clerks 3 Optimus Prime job. But anyway, but I mean, in that vein, regardless. Oh, I guess he could now with Netflix and the anime thing. Alright, so, Clerks, the Discord server, you should definitely join. Zane Powers and Austin do an amazing job. I have some great mods. There's some great discussions. I've been very happy with it. As well as if you want to ask me a question. No, Clerks was a topic. Oh, God. Okay. If you ever want to ask me a question, you can never make it to a good movie crap or anything like that, you can come to that Discord and ask me anytime. I answer them. I'm going to try to answer them all tonight before I go to bed. That's usually when I do it, so you get your answers late or early in the morning. So I do try to answer every single one. So if you want to go there and ask me a question, please do so, and it is a great community, and they've done a great job. Also, Chandler Benally, I don't think I've seen you before. Love you on the Pizza Party podcast. Thank you very much. Cheers to you. I like that's cool. Anyway, alright. As well as, I know I've already gotten a lot of super chats, and thank you very much. This show, and pretty much everything I do is predominantly supported by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show or through my Patreon. So go check out the link below for my Patreon. I have lots of cool stuff, exclusive Knockforce commentaries, exclusive videos, and you get more voting power in the movie review vote, but super chats also help as well. From Rand Sanfilm, another one, say Metropolis know as D-Town Balmer like Mr. J? I don't know what... Metropolis known as D-Town Balmer? What is that? I don't know that one. Anyway. Alright, no, Optimus Room John, do not feel sorry. It's cool. But that was a cool story. That made me excited because I feel like that's a project. I need to see Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. I need to review Clerks the animated series. I need to get into that. Anyway, I guess we should talk about the big movie news of the week. We should get into that, shouldn't we? But cheers to you, Ransom. I forget if I cheers to you, but I'm taking this anyway, I guess. I don't know. So, I feel like my wife, you can probably hear my wife's having a lot of fun in the next door. Jim, will you ever do... we'll see. I don't know. It's always in the cards, AMC. But most questions will be at the end. But that's a good reason to join the Discord. There we go. All right, so let's get into the movie news, which is, I'm assuming, maybe why you're here. I don't know. But let's talk about what's going on with AMC Universal, because it is crazy and it's weird, and I want to lay out the whole history of it this way. Optimus Rimjob, do not feel bad, by the way. You did a good job. It was just hitting me a lot of stuff. Thank you very much for the super chat, and thank you for the support, and thank you for sending me that, because I wouldn't have been able to talk about it at all without you sending it. So thank you very much. Do not feel bad. That is on me, not you. All right, we got a bunch of super chats. And Mandela Butterfly, cheers to you. Thank you very much. From Pink Flamingos, when the marbles are first shown. Oh, okay. I don't remember that line exactly, but I did say it. I don't know. But cheers to you. Did you get the Dexter's Lab Johnny Funko? No, I did not do that. I would like to, but I'm not really into spending a lot of money, Bloxy Oxen Winkle, right now. But thank you very much. And Courtney, wow, you guys are being very generous, so I want to thank you all very much. This is really nice. So Courtney, thank you so much for everything you do, Jim. Thank you, Courtney. I love Courtney. Courtney, are you from Canada also? I have a lot of Canadians. I'm not sure how I did that, but yeah. All right, here we go. Also, thank you, Cornbread. Oh, God. I'm going to choke on Red Bull. There's too many of these. All right. So, the AMC Universal thing. I'm sorry. I was going to be like, serious movie news person. I just made myself laugh. So, they sold out in 10 seconds of the thing? All right. Whoa. They were cool Funkos. I'm not a big Funko person, but I love my Mystery Science Theater ones because there were never Mystery Science Theater action figures, which I think that's one of the best things about Funko is they're like, we'll just make this limited one. It'll never, and no smaller company would have made them an action figure. I think they actually do. I'm not from Canada. Oh, okay. But I thought they did a good job at that. Anyway, here we go. So the Universal AMC thing is interesting in that, first off, Universal has wanted to break the theatrical window for a while. It's interesting that if you had told me who was going to fuck with it more, you would think Netflix, because of Netflix. And Netflix is not part of this discussion, which is so weird. You would think they would be. If we talked about this in November, you'd think I'd be still talking about Netflix, not Universal. Came out of nowhere. Mostly because of the coronavirus. Now, they did a bunch of things early in the week, and it kind of gears towards what Universal does in their... Let's move the mic closer to... Sorry. There we go. Sort of. Okay. Hello. This is a show that I do. It should be better at, probably. So, Universal, how they do their business practices with this whole thing is pretty much how this happened. Warner Brothers basically does everything Universal does. But they are gentlemen about, or not, and they're not all guys, but they're nice about it. Whereas Universal are sort of dicks. And that's sort of what they did earlier in this week. And I'm completely serious about this. Universal, in the beginning of the week, said they made about over $100 million on Trolls in 3 weeks. I'm not sure how that is a possible thing, but they said it was. And that since they make 80% off of VOD versus the 50-50 split, versus the 50-50 split, they're making a lot more money than they did on the original Trolls. Ransam Film with the super chat. My state open. People are at work. Be dumb. How fucked am I? I don't think you'll be too fucked, but be careful out there. Wear a face mask. Wear some gloves. Ransam Film. And thank you for the super chat there. So they talked about that. They bragged about Trolls in the Wall Street Journal. And the theater owners weren't really happy about that. And that was weird. Then directly after that, like the next day, they said King of Staten Island, which is the next Judd Apatow directed film starring Pete Davidson, which is, I guess, going to be his kind of foray into becoming a movie star, because he does have a pretty large profile. I'm not as in love with him as some people, but he can be funny. And that was going to go to theaters, and now that is going straight to VOD, because financially they just felt that worked out for that. Then And then the studio head of Universal said after that, so they're making like two big moves. Like King of Staten Island is actually a part of this, because one of the things about that, not enough people are bringing it up. Chicago John, I don't know if I've seen you before. I feel like I've seen you before, but anyway, regardless, I haven't seen you a lot, and I want to thank you for being here, and thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the cool news you bring us and the fun reviews. Thank you very much, Chicago John. I appreciate it. But then the Jeff Shell, who's the wow, this is his real name. Jeff Shell, the CEO of Universal, said the results of Trolls World Tour have exceeded our expectations and demonstrated the viability of VOD. As soon as theaters reopen, we expect to release movies on both formats. And then AMC said, fuck you guys, you can't be in our theaters anymore worldwide, or at least, and they're one of the biggest theater chains in the world. They're the biggest theater chain in America. Now, a lot of people are surprised by this. Because, AMC last week or so, we were all talking about how they weren't doing well and they were going to go into bankruptcy. But this is a preemptive strike because they're worried they're worried that Universal is actually going to do this. Ransam Film with another super chat says, what's your favorite Rodriguez flick? I love Sin City. I actually think that might be, but I have a personal 90s love for Desperado and From Dusk Till Dawn and El Mariachi, so it's between those, but Sin City is probably the best one of those, so cheers to you. So, after all that, AMC says that they ban them. Regal and Cinemark make similar statements, but they're basically like, we will not play films that break the theatrical window. But basically, oh man, Google Doc, you sent me to like 12:30 here. We're still 10:48. Let's see what I did there. AMC basically made the statement, it is disappointing to us, but Jeff's comments as to Universal's unlittered actions and intentions have left us with no choice. Therefore, effectively, immediately, AMC will no longer play any Universal's movies in any of our theaters in the United States, Europe, or the Middle East. And Cinemark, we have two. Zane Power says, will this ban stick or will it just solve itself? I think, I don't think it will, but we'll see. Cheers to you, though. And we're going to run out of Red Bulls here. I might just have to drink water. So from Fight the Grip says, just gave me a $3 super chat and has a cool Calvin and Hobbes avatar, and that's cool. Or just a Hobbes avatar, but it's, from Calvin and Hobbes. And Benjamin Allen Dixon said, hey, Jim, love your stuff. Any horror favorites? I would say... I watch Halloween and I love Carpenter. So, breathe, Jim. Are you familiar with the director Jody Hill? I love him. I'm a little familiar with him. Didn't he do, is it Observe and Report with... Was that Jody Hill? I know him, but I can't remember right now. So, cheers to you, Ransom Film, and cheers to you, Benjamin Allen Dickinson. Sin World said, unfortunately, I missed similar message. I saw a similar message in Universal's announcement. Not only did Universal provide no comment on future window, but Universal has the only studio that tried to take advantage of the current crisis and provide a day-and-date release of a movie that is not yet released. And Universal also said, or Regal, said, well known in the industry is our part of our commercial deal with our movie suppliers. We make it clear we will not be showing movies that fall to respect the windows. So basically, you're probably wondering, first off, where does Scoop fall in all this, and will this stand? For Universal, it could stand for a while, because Universal's next movie was King of Staten Island, which now means Universal doesn't have a movie opening in theaters, at least in the US, until September 25th with Candyman, the Candyman reboot. They have nothing opening till then. So they can sweat this out, and I think AMC will make them. Now, what does this mean for Universal? This could be disastrous for them, particularly because they have a James Bond international deal, not in America, so this does not affect the James Bond release in America, because that's through MGM and Annapurna or something. So that's fine, but because of that, I think they will probably have to solve it because of Jurassic World and things like that. But I think AMC wanted to throw down the gauntlet because here's the thing. Universal didn't give theaters very much advance notice of Trolls World Tour. About 2-3 hours. Scoob was a deal that had been worked out for weeks with theater owners. Weeks. That is not something that Warner's was very careful. In addition, I want to bring up something that no one's really talking about. That a couple things that no one's talking about. Warner's does make films under various subsidiaries straight to VOD. The DC animated stuff, Banana Splits movie was by them, even though it premiered on Sci-Fi later, but it was a Warner Brothers movie. Same with the Velma and Daphne thing, live action thing they made. So they have a business model to do that, but they don't fuck with the theatrical window at the same time. They found a way to do that. World's Greatest Dad is my favorite Robin Williams film. That's a good one. I like that one as well. Ransom film. Cheers to you. So, while Universal's over here fucking with everything, basically, you have Warner's, who basically does this but is respectful, worked out a deal. Now, the one thing about the VOD thing is that you're not going to get at all is you're not making as much money. I don't care what these studios say. There's no way they're making as much because, first off, you're getting the theatrical release. You're doing that. You're selling merch off that. Then you get a push to home video. And then you're selling merch off that, and you're getting home video money. You're getting Blu-ray money. You're getting all of that. Maybe not as much anymore, but that is part of the financial deal. You're not getting that if you're going straight to VOD. Scoob definitely isn't, because Scoob is priced to own. So they understand they're losing money on Scoob, and they're losing money on Trolls. Regardless of what they tell you, that is what's going on. They're losing those ancillary markets, and they're not getting them back. So anyone acting like VOD is this like miracle thing that's going to save the entertainment industry is full of fucking shit. Because 80% is not making up for all the money they could possibly make off this. Now, if they really think they could make more, and also, Trolls made money on Blu-ray, made money on VOD, the original one, before Trolls World Tour, they don't get that bonus VOD money. They don't get anything. It's like all that is just taken care of in this one-shot thing, and unless they were making, however much they made off Trolls over that, I don't think the math really adds up. It's just Universal really has always wanted this to work, going back to that Tower Heist incident I talked about a long time ago, where you'd have to pay $50 to see Tower Heist 2 weeks after it came out or something. I think it might have been $25, but it was a lot. Point is Universal wants to rock the boat. They're not doing it in a smart way. Financially, you'd have to do a smaller movie to go to VOD. If they had worked out a deal with Kings of Staten Island, this wouldn't be a big deal. But it freaked them out, and not because King of Staten Island was going to blow up the box office or maybe even be a great movie. I don't actually think either of those things. I haven't even seen a trailer, first off, so there's that. But it's also the fact that that's appealing to other audiences. And I think they're fine with the family thing, and they're sort of letting it go. But the fact that a studio's trying non-family releases definitely freaks them out. But I think financially they have to deal with AMC. This ban will not stand. It is a stupid idea. But Universal had to be told to shut the fuck up, basically. And someone should have... And there's more doubt being caused on them. And I think AMC knows they're the most public theater chain. Regal and all them don't want to throw down the gauntlet like that because they know they're in dire straits and they're scared and they don't want to go down even further. AMC clearly has some balls to do something like that, especially right now, but it scared Universal, and they'll probably lose some deals right now. It is definitely going to mess with them. And the theater owners threatened something like this would happen. And the fact that they're doing it so swiftly, if you're pitching a movie and you're a major director, I don't think you're going to pitch to Universal right now. They tried to backtrack and things, but we'll see about that. It's a crazy thing right now, but it is one of the most interesting kind of fights going on in entertainment. But I think it's just Universal needs to take care of the theaters more and talk to them better. And the fact that they're not is why really this happened. Ransom Film says, do you think NY will open soon? OU real to get... Oh, you owe me real Mexico. Thank you very much, Ransom Film. I think the stay-at-home order is till May 15th, so it'd probably be around then, but I think it'll be extended, so I don't think too soon. I hope not, because I don't think it should. I don't know. I think we should stay closed for a little bit. All right, so that was, I think, everything. That was sort of a complex thing. All right. Did we get everything? All right, so Hercules Live-Action. they're making a live-action Hercules movie. That is, okay. They're making a live-action Hercules movie, Disney live-action Hercules movie, produced by the Russo brothers and written by the writer of Shang-Chi and The Expendables. Now, what I don't get about this is there's like a lot of live-action Hercules movies, so I'm sort of confused. I mean, I get that Disney's Hercules is different than the Hercules that we get in the Disney movie, but whoa, hold on. A guy named Crystal said, a customer gave me some money at work yesterday as a gift, and I thought I could give some of it to you. Hope you and your family are doing well. Thank you, a guy named Crystal. Cheers to you. Thank you very much there. Well, cheers to that customer for being nice, first off. And I'm glad, I hope you're doing well working right now as well. I hope you're doing okay, because I know that's a little scary. But cheers to you. Thank you. That was very nice of you. Thank you very much. Now, the other thing about this Hercules thing, there's no director announced, but I'm a little like, I think I've heard they kind of don't really want to do Tarzan. I've heard that rumor just because there are so many Tarzan movies and there are just as many Hercules movies. And I mean, I think if you got the right director, like if you got like a fun director, you could probably do something kind of neat with it. But I just don't, I'm just sort of like not into doing the John Musker, Ron Clements movies. I wish they weren't doing any of them. I wish they would just stay away from it. But they are planning on doing this, and, you know, it's a thing. And, you know, I'm curious, will they do Princess and the Frog? Will they do, which one did they do? Did they do Treasure Planet, I think? Will they just do all the Ron Clements, John Musker movies? I don't know. But I think this is a horrible idea. I don't like it at all. I think it's probably going to be pretty bad, like most of these are. I think there is potential there. If, like, you got a fun cast, it could be, you know, just a decently fun movie. I think you could do that. The Russos as producers haven't really proved themselves, but who's going to play Katzenberg? I mean, Hades. Nice, Austin. I don't know. I'm curious. I mean, James Woods isn't exactly the greatest person in the world, so cheers to you. I don't know. We'll see about all that with the Hercules thing, but that's what they're planning. It seems like they're really like going through all of the 90s movies, which I really wish they'd pick like a weirder, interesting movie, but we'll see that. All right, so next up, 2 Space Jam things. Space Jam 2 was finally given the release date, or given the title of Space Jam: A New Legacy, which is somehow worse than Space Jam 2. It was revealed on Twitter. LeBron James had a hat that said Space Jam: A New Legacy. So that's neat. He did that. Can you imagine them they're trying to play it serious? Which, I'm not sure if you're talking about Space Jam or Hercules, but I can't imagine either. So, anyways, I'm embarrassed. Thank you very much. But yeah, Space Jam. I'm just like not that excited for this, to be honest with you. And I want to know a concept, but the title is just sort of like, I mean, they're really hyping like it's LeBron and Bugs. And I'm sort of like, yeah, but what is the plot? Like, that's kind of like, what's your angle? Because right now I'm like, I'm going to see it because it's like Space Jam, but I'm like a little like, can we get something more? I know you probably are going to get bumped back because of all the release date nonsense, but like the title was a little like, it's not a great, that's very generic if you really think about it. I wish it had just been like, I'm going to slam, or like something specific to Space Jam, like A New Legacy. I just like, come on. I don't know. Courtney asks, would you ever do a drunk stream, Jim? I don't think I would like to, and you just find that I get sleepy when I'm drunk and lazy, and I just sit here and get back and like, you know. I did have a beer with dinner. So that's the thing. Well, I did have a beer with dinner. Alright. So I guess this is as drunk as I'd be for one of these, which, I don't know, maybe. So, I don't know if this was news, but it is interesting. Because the video was made, I think, in March or something like that. That apparently one of the animators of Space Jam sort of revealed, and in this video, which was on Twitter, that like a Looney Tunes critic person, if someone has the video, if you could put it in the chat, that would be appreciated. I'm not a wild drunk like Saber. I think I've probably been more drunk than... Yeah, but I'm not. the Space Jam, one of the Space Jam animators talked about how of a horrible time he had with it and how some of the footage was actually unusable and everything like that. Actually, it's a 15-minute video. Yeah, someone should post that. I should have I didn't copy the link, but I did watch the full video. It was interesting how the director of Space Jam was basically clueless, which it's interesting. I keep hearing about the director of the original Space Jam a lot. He was in my How Did Speed Racer Bomb as well. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of interesting how that all worked out. But, yeah, apparently most of the animators did hate working on the movie. It's a really tough movie to work on. And I'm interested on how... I don't know. It's interesting that it really was sort of a disastrous production. They have to have animators fix it, and even the when Daffy kissed the Warner Brothers emblem on his butt. Thank you, Ryan. That was like they added that in, and I thought that was funny. So, and he was kind of bringing up how they went into different stylistic choices in that sequence for the spit shine sequence, everything like that. So that was interesting. So there. All right. So let's talk about a Spider-Man thing there. So apparently this is like sort of a dumb news thing, but it's kind of interesting. So I know how like we're always talking about what these cinematic universes are named, and even like the DC extended universe wasn't its actual name or something. Who cares? But apparently there was a tweet that Sony put out that said it was called the Spider-Man Universe of Characters, which is a terrible. That's really bad. That doesn't sound like. That sounds like they should have. When I tweet out a draft and it's really badly spelled and I have to delete it and I have to retweet it, and I hope nobody saw it, even though I know most of you saw it. And then they clarified, they go, no, it is not called that. It is called Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Characters. So don't worry, it's like just as stupid as you thought it was. Which I don't... It's like, hey, guess what? It's like not any better. Cool. Alright, so I am going to say drinking that much Red Bull does make me need to take a break after this whole thing of things that have dates, and then I will take a quick break, and then, yeah, then I'll be back. Sorry, I don't mean to take 2 breaks. I feel bad when I do that. But here's how we go. So, the DUCU, the Dark Universe Cinematic Universe. Thank you, Austin. Thank you. So, a lot of these are Lionsgate dates. A few of these are, I guess, Paramount dates. So here's our things that got new dates or got moved section of movie crap, which is like a regular thing at this point. So John Wick 4 was moved back from May 27th, 2022 to a year later to May... No. It was May 21st, 2021. It is now May 27th, 2022. Spiral has moved back from its planned May 2020 release to May 21st, 2021. Transformers next movie. We're not sure which of the Transformers movies it is. There's like so many in development right now between the animated prequel, which I'll talk about later, and all the other ones that they're developing in the ether and all that, is going to come out on June 24th, 2022. They have it earmarked for Transformers something. So cool. The Trial of the Chicago 7, which is going to be the next film from Aaron Sorkin. He directed it, much like Molly's Game, which I didn't see, but I know the Anthem guys probably did. If they're here, I don't know if they're here, but if they are here, they should say something in the chat. I love those guys. I need to do something with those guys. I was hanging out on their stream the other day. They did a Drinko de Mayo thing. So anyway, you guys should check out the Anthem podcast. Before we get into that, fun fact from Niji Kichu. Hit me with a cool fun fact here. Fun fact in Endgame, everything in the 2-cap fight is CG but the 2 caps. The shields, briefcase, second cat helmet, the whole building is CG but them. Interesting. That's an interesting one. Thank you, Niji Kichu. Glad to see you here. Thank you very much. Cheers to you. Niji Kichu, even if it's for a second, it's worth it. So thank you very much. That was wonderful. I hope you are doing well and staying safe and staying healthy. By Niji Kichu. Alright, I like that. That was cute. Alright, so The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard has been moved to August 2021. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which is the one where Nicolas Cage plays himself and all that stuff, which sounded interesting. I talked about it a while ago. I can't go into the whole thing because I don't remember it. Has been moved to March 19th, 2021. Chaos Walking, which is I think the one where like there's only men who exist and Daisy Ridley's in it with Tom... Tom Holland is going to keep its June 22nd, 2021 release. And a film starring Hilary Swank, which is cool because I like Hilary Swank, is now going to be out October 30th, 2020. I'll just roll off a bunch. There's a film called The Asset. There's a Kristen Wiig comedy that I talked about before. Barb and Star Go to Vesta Del Mar, that is now going to be out. Is going to move to next year, July 16th, 2021. I talked about, and I was wondering what that was. So that sounds cool. And then all right. So I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. Then I'll get to the rest of the news. I'm sorry. You guys are very generous, but it sort of made me have to pee a little bit. So I'm gonna have to do that, and then I'll be right back. And y'all stay chill, and then we will. Did you call Uncharted Tom Holland? No, it wasn't. It's a different Tom Holland movie. It's a different one. It's a different one. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. Anyone hear me? I hear my wife cut me off to go to the bathroom. I feel like everyone did, probably. But anyway, how's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing good this Saturday. Anyway, I don't know if I'll take a second break before the segments, but yeah. Let's go down the line here. Where are we? Yeah, my wife, I was going out to use the bathroom, cut me off with the pass. I don't know if anyone heard that. Anyway, someone in the background sounds like Nolan. No, sorry, Nolan. My wife is not recording an alternate Pizza Party podcast. That'd be funny. I don't think... Yeah. Anyway. All right. Let me get some water first, and then we'll move on to the rest of the show. Okay, let's hit a bunch of stuff. All right, so Lego and Universal movie. You wait, what? Bloxy Oxenwinkle put up a life-size Paul Blart Mall Cop stand in my bedroom? Really? That's interesting. All right. I want to see pictures. All right, so Lego has continued its deal with Universal, signing a deal with the Universal Music Partnership. I think one of the things about Universal, even though I just talked about them with AMC, is they are actually kind of one of the bigger studios. It's sort of like Disney, Universal, Warner's, and Universal also has a huge music publishing thing. And they've signed a pact with Lego, which is kind of seems to be like they're really setting up shop over there. So, yeah, I'd expect even more stuff from that deal especially because they've signed publishing with them as well. So they are fully leaving Warner's, completely going to Universal, as we expected. There's going to be a Kimmy Schimdt interactive thing. I'm sort of into the interactive kind of stuff. I'm curious about it. I sort of have fun with the gimmick of it, and there's going to be a Kimmy Schimdt thing, Kimmy Schimdt versus the Reverend. I watched the trailer. It looked cool. Hey, Will's here. I thought I mentioned Voyagers, but I'll mention it again for you, Will. I'm glad you're here, man. Didn't know if this got mentioned tonight, but Neil Berger's sci-fi adventure Voyagers, starring Colin Farrell, has been set to November 25th, 2020. That's not a good date. That sucks. Yeah, that's not going to last. That shouldn't last. I wouldn't... Between King Kong, Godzilla, Bond, and... what's the kids movie? Soul. Yeah, that's a bad date. They need to move. Corona or no Corona, they need to move. Anyway, Will, thank you. Sorry, you got my real reaction to that, because listing off dates is one thing, but when people give me a specific date, especially when I know that's not a good date. Anyway, I hope that works out for them, or I hope they move it. Anyway, cheers to you, Will. Thank you for that. But yeah, I like the interactive thing. I might be doing more things on the interactive stuff, but I'm excited to do it when the Kimmy Schimdt thing launches later this month. The Goonies reunited to do kind of this cool charity live stream thing. I thought that was kind of interesting. Josh Gad hosted. He seems to be doing a lot of kind of reunion type stuff and doing it very respectfully. I wish he could do his Muppets thing. That's what I thought the whole time. So that was cool. They reunited. I'm just kind of hitting these things, I guess. Disney had this weird Twitter thing where basically they have this thing, May the 4th be with you. I sort of don't get the May the 4th be with you thing for two reasons. One, when do we ever not talk about Star Wars? Is there like a day that someone doesn't make a Star Wars reference? Like, it's just like always going on. And two, like, why? Like, I don't get it. Just the pun? Because the actual anniversary, the 40th anniversary? Yes, 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back is this month. So, why celebrate May the 4th over the anniversary of like a film classic? Like, I don't really understand that, but whatever. But they got mad at someone. Basically, they kind of just said like, we own any property that any intellectual property that uses this hashtag, which went over swimmingly. I find the whole May the 4th thing also weird because Rise of Skywalker is coming on Disney Plus, and instead of going, guess what's coming on Disney Plus? This movie that made $1 billion. They probably know no one liked that movie, so instead they're like, hey, all 9 movies. All 9 of them. And I'm like, guys, that's what, like, like that's how you're advertising the one movie? They're just like, we have 9 of them. And you're like, but Rise of Skywalker, ignore that one. Those other 8 movies, though. I'm like, it's not the worst one, but whatever. Anyway, I mean, I get it's funny, but I just don't, I don't know. So, a movie, which this kind of got reported along with, the King of Staten Island thing, but it sort of like got messed with in the news cycle, I noticed. But a film called American Pickle, starring Seth Rogen, which was going to be released by Sony, it never had a release date, is going to HBO Max. It never actually had, you love Attack the Clones? Do you really? Do you? I find that interesting. Awesome. That's interesting. But a film called American Pickle, starring Seth Rogen, which Sony was going to release. I don't think it had a release date. It's going to HBO Max. It's basically about a guy in the early 20th century who gets stuck in a barrel of pickles and like has a Rip Van Winkle thing and wakes up now and has to deal with Seth Rogen now and stuff. It doesn't sound like an amazing... It could be funny. I haven't seen a trailer, but apparently they were having trouble figuring out a great date, and they... Also, the things with things that are just being thrown at streaming services, it might be like, we would like to put it out now and have you promote it this time. And they're like, well, I'm working on another project and potentially I can't do that. So sometimes they're just doing it because they're like, the only time we could properly promote this is like 3 years later. They're sort of like, just go to streaming, whatever. And apparently that's sort of what happened here. Although I didn't think this film sounded like it was going to be that great. So two kind of big things that are going to... Is this a sequel to Sausage Party from Zane Powers? It is not a sequel to Sausage Party. It's just like a thing about a pickle. I did notice, I heard on the John Campea thing on when he covered it, he actually didn't call it sausage party, he actually called it food fight, which I thought was funny. And then apparently corrected a different thing, but not correct. He still kept referring to sausage party as food fight, which is entertaining. Cheers to you, Vampire. So yes, there's going to be a Hellraiser HBO show. This is interesting, as Hellraiser, previously I had heard that they were going to do some sort of a reboot. We hadn't really gotten much on what that could possibly be, but we were aware of it possibly happening. But it sounds like that is not happening. It's going to be a show on HBO. David Gordon Green is going to direct some of the early episodes. But it sounds like HBO is really trying to diversify, because Game of Thrones is over, Westworld is sort of hitting, but not to the Game of Thrones thing, and they really want to like make some new stuff, and especially since everyone has sort of left, the executive level is less HBO, so they're really trying out different stuff. That could be something. I obviously they like doing these big, expensive shows that have cult audiences, and Hellraiser could be that. The Clive Barker fandom has sort of been dormant for a while. It used to be like pretty prominent in sci-fi horror, and he's not really the name he was in the like late 80s, early to like let's say mid 90s. And he once Scream hit, not that it took him out or was the same or anything like that, but it just like seemed like when horror changed, he didn't really go with it. So it's probably like a good thing to get into at this point. There's also going to be a Goosebumps live-action series, another one. This is in the works from Scholastic. It looks like it's going to be at Netflix, from Neil Morris, who did the show. So I think that'll be kind of like what the movie was. I don't know if we really need a new Goosebumps live action series, but I think it could be cool, and if Netflix gets behind it, that would really work. This is sort of two quick ones. The people who made Seberg, which is a movie a lot of industry people talked about, but seemingly I know no one who saw. A lot of people talked about seeing it, but I didn't know anyone saw it. They're working on a follow-up to the Snake Eyes G.I. Joe movie, but it is a follow-up in the universe, not necessarily Snake Eyes. What is it? Who knows? But that's all we know. And there's also apparently going to be a Now You See Me 3, which I've heard Dan Harbin's thing, like, Now You See Me, and it should have been Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Should have been the sequel, but anyway. Interruption. Please continue. Thank you, Male Tears, Party Monster. I should have said Thunderbirds. Damn it, I'm not funny enough. Alright, so, the new Oscar rules. What happened, basically? And, I wanted to go down to Sinram, ask a question about this. I want to just answer his question along with this topic, because I didn't put the Discord one. I'm just doing the Patreon one that he left, but it sort of gets into the whole thing with this. Sinram, so basically, what happened is the Academy did two big things. One, they changed the sound categories. Now one, just best sound. It's going to the same amount of people. So best sound editing and best sound mixing all get Oscars, but they just get it for the same movie, rather than two separate movies could win, or usually the same movie. Not always, but happen a lot. And that they made a distinction that movies that can be eligible for the Oscars just this year are films that have to have had a release date at one point and then had to go to VOD because of the coronavirus. Now, there is a question. They never clarified this, but Sinram Besley asked the question that I'm going to answer here. Hey, Jim, I left this... Okay, he said, hey, Jim, but he left a longer message on the Discord, but I'm just going to, for clarity's sake. But you can check that message out on the Discord if you'd like to. I encourage you to, under the Movie Crap Stories channel. You should also join the Discord. How are the Academy decision makers going to determine which films go straight to streaming would have played in theaters under normal circumstances, since they are now bending the qualification rules? Now, a lot of people have said they're just going to look at the release calendar, which to me is not great, because couldn't you just be like, you know what, we were going to go to VOD, but let's just put the release thing on there. Let's just put it on Box Office Mojo or the release calendar there, which a lot of industry people use, and just say, hey, that's that it was going to be straight to theaters. It was going to happen, but we couldn't. So it isn't a perfect system, and I can see people either messing with it or complaining about it. Like American Pickle never had a release date, ever, so they can't say that. Whereas like Lovebirds, I guess you could make the example, even though it went straight to streaming, or Artemis Fowl, or My Spy, which of course will be the Best Picture nominees this year. But I am curious how this will affect things. I think right now the only film that's really that could be Oscar nominated, and don't laugh at me, would be Trolls World Tour for Best Animated. That's probably the only one that's a major competition thing. I don't think King of Staten Island, as much as Judd Apatow loves himself, has any chance of that one. But I haven't seen it, so who knows. But I don't think it's a good system. I think they should change the rules so all movies are eligible. I think the Oscars have this dumb system, and it doesn't sound like a great idea right now. It doesn't sound like they clarified it very well. And they're just sort of like they're trying to like protect people and protect the studios, and it will be on their streaming service, and it will play at the Academy Theater at some point, I've heard. But if it is eligible. But I just don't. I agree, it isn't a great system. They don't have a great system in place. They're just going to have to trust that that's the plan. Will people take advantage of it? Frankly, I hope they do. I hope they do, because the Oscar rules are dumb. They should let Netflix and things like that compete. And maybe Netflix can say, you know what, we are going to go to theaters. We're going to open June, whatever the fuck, who cares? And then a week later go, you know what, we're not, you know what, it's going to bomb, because there's no theaters open right now except the indie ones. But we sent them posters and we really pretended. And Netflix could probably spend enough to convince you that they were going to do that. So should they? Yeah, they should, because fuck the Oscar for having such dumb rules. But yeah, there is an unproven system, and Sinram's right to bring that up. You should subscribe to Sinram as well. He's great. But I agree that the Oscars changing their rules up, something they had to do. There is going to be one less Oscar handed out. A lot of people wondered, hey, what's going to happen with Best Stunts? And the Oscars are like, I don't know. But I think that would be a great addition. There are some debates about that I've heard from stunt people. They don't want stunts to get like so crazy that people like, I'll do this crazy stunt so it wins an Oscar and like put their life at risk. I've also heard from actual stunt people that they like to be invisible within the movie and respect the illusion. And if they're famous for winning an Oscar, that destroys the illusion, which is actually a good argument. But anyway, we'll see what happens with all this Oscar rule stuff. I think as the campaigns and of movies that are actually going to be eligible for Oscars, you know, other than, like in all seriousness, other than Trolls and World Tour and Scoob, I don't see any of these other movies that happen to yet be things that could possibly be nominated for an Oscar. So I think we'll see what's going to happen with that. It shows to me, knowing the difference between how Universal has handled this and how Warner's has handled this, I'm sort of thinking that Universal didn't say anything to the Oscar voters, but Warner's actually did. So I think that's something that happened. I think maybe Warner's was like, well, let's, you know, I'm not saying Scoob is good or bad. I also, by the way, I keep seeing this thing like, oh, well, American Pickle is so bad, or King of Staten Island, or all this stuff. They're not going to VOD because they're bad. That's not what's going on here. And people, again, I will bring this up again. Hey, Izzy's here. I didn't see this. For a full Sonic sweep. I would love a full Sonic sweep. Hi, Izzy. I don't know if you were here before, but I just saw. But we'll see what's. I think Scoob. But yeah, none of these movies were delayed for were put on there because they're bad or the studio didn't believe in the Hanna-Barbera universe. I actually think they do. Thus, why they put it out during right now. So. I mean, we'll see, because it's also, Scoob isn't the best release date because more and more states will be open, but I don't think theaters will be. Speaking of theaters, so a lot of people reported this in a way that I didn't like, but here's the basic deal with this. So they're saying when theaters open again, there will be, oh, you just got here. Okay. There will be, basically like TSA style checks and temperature checks and all this stuff, and there'll be plexiglass and all this crazy stuff going on to get into a movie theater. Okay, first off, that could possibly happen, but NATO, which is the actual name of the National Association of Theater Owners, and not whatever NATO stands for, what do they do? Do they do a thing? I guess so. The serious NATO, that's a serious thing. Sorry, I'm trying to find their name on the story I have. Okay. So, but basically, there's this theater, this company called EVO Entertainment, who has 2 locations in Texas, who are sort of planning to open sort of earlier, who are planning on opening earlier, have said that is what they're going to do. They're kind of the first ones who've implemented, they said if you have a temperature of 100 or above, you're not getting in. So basically someone will be like, you're too hot to see Trolls World Tour. And I'd be like, thank you, motherfuckers. And I'd walk out, have my hands up, and they'd be like, no, you should go home. I think you're sick. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, it's sort of interesting that they are actually the first ones I've heard that have a real plan. We haven't really heard that from anyone else. But there's going to be a lot more plexiglass, and they're really going to respect their patrons. So I'm curious if we hear more updates on that one, since they seem to be the only one who's actually trying to open, and they don't expect to make money during this time. They're sort of doing it to just help people out and give them something to do during this difficult time. And I respect that. So I'm curious how this is going to go, but it's going to be weird. So in news that maybe only I care about, but I report Mystery Science Theater news either way, that they're going to have a Twitch riff-along. And it is going to it's going to be on tomorrow at 6 p.m. And it's going to have a new riff with the short circus day, and then they're going to riff along with the classic Mystery Science Theater episode from I sent you a thing for you to react. Okay, hold on. I will react to this, Izzy. I'll stop Mystery Science Theater news. Izzy sent me a thing. Izzy sent me a link. What's going on over there? Ooh, hold on. Is there sound with it? No. Ooh, look at that. Am I allowed to show this? I don't think so. I like it. That's smooth. Look at those clouds and the way it moves. This is just me hyping something. But, anyway. Oh, they're going to have the 8th act? That's cool. Anyway, that's cool, Izzy. I like it. I'm excited. You guys will see later, I guess. Anyway, so Mystery Science Theater is going to be a riff-along. You're probably wondering, what cast? Is it going to be Jonah or something? It's not. It's going to be the cast that was in the live tour, which is interesting because the woman who did it, I forget her. I don't think they said it in the story, and I forget her name. Oh, you don't mind me showing it? Okay. How well will this come out, I wonder? I'm always having a lot of fun tonight, but she deserves it. Okay, hold on. Let me get the OBS. Izzy drew a cool background that may or may not be for something. And look at that. Or she didn't, but someone else made it. I'm sorry. But it's cool. And I really like it. I'm excited for what we're cooking up. Really what Izzy's cooking up, because I'm just a voice. But I'm still very excited for this. I think it's going to be... I'm not angling this well. Why am I... I'm not doing this well. Anyway, doesn't that look cool? The hype is real. At least for me. I don't care what y'all's hype is. But to me, I'm hyped. Anyway, thank you, Izzy, for that. Oh, this is going to be cool. Alright, so... but yeah, the podcast that we're working on is going to be exciting. I'm excited. It's... As Izzy said, it is an asset. So... It's going to be neat. I'm excited for this. Alright. So the riff-along. Sorry. It's basically called the Social Distancing Riff-Along Special. Apparently during a Zoom call for Mystery Science Theater, the tour, which got a lot of its dates canceled because they can't obviously keep touring. Whoever your friend is who did it did a great job. But, oh, you animated. Okay. Well, Izzy did a good job animating that background. Sorry, I didn't have the... Sorry, too much for Jim to concentrate on maybe today. So, I'm trying to find... Anyway, basically the woman who was in the tour, who was kind of largely suggested to be doing... Oh, thank you very much, Courtney. I'm very excited for it too. Cheers to you. Thank you. But the people from the original, the tour, and the woman who is kind of shown to be kind of the next kind of host are going to be doing the riffing, which makes me think that might be the future of Mystery Science Theater, which I think is something the show needed. I don't think Jonah was... I like Jonah, but he wasn't a defined... kind of defined as Mike and Joel, and I think a female host would actually be a good change of pace for the show and something they need, and I think she could be great. I wouldn't mind if they did sort of like live riffs as well. I think that would be cool, because I had so much fun during the live tours. But I actually, by the way, I wanted to say, if I'm not sure if this will be... should we talk about Mystery Science? Thank you, Izzy. It's not that I need glasses, it wasn't, I couldn't find it. Anyway, I can see it, just whatever. But the I'm probably going to try to do a review of it if I can watch it later. I can't watch it really at 6 because Sophie's still around and all that stuff. And I want to appreciate that shit. You know what I mean? It's a new Mystery Science Theater thing. So if I can watch it, I will do a review of that, which I think will be out Wednesday. Obviously, I couldn't do it as part of the show because there's other things going on. But whatever. But I think it'll be cool, especially them redoing the jokes of Season 1. Season 1 is not the greatest. I feel like it doesn't really become the show until Season 2. But it's a cool idea, and I think it'll be fun, and I'm excited to see it, so I hope I can watch it later. I think you probably can. But I'm also excited for that being the future of Mystery Science Theater with her at the helm, because I think that could be a cool way to do the show. And I think maybe like the Hollywood seasons of Mystery Science Theater I like, but I sort of want it to go back to its kind of like charm of its kind of like unpolished Hollywood. I like the kind of Minnesota kind of talent pool that they used in the original, and I kind of want like unfamous people. I liked what they did with Baron Vaughn and Jonah and all that. I sort of want to change the pace. I don't want that again. And I think she could intro that, and I really liked her on the tour. So anyway, what happened to TV's Frank, Zane Powers? He's okay. He was actually in the hospital earlier this year, and but I think he's doing okay now. So anyway, cheers to you, old man. Well, I'm the dad in the cartoon community. I can't really help that. All right, so thank you, Zane Powers. Man, that background was cool. Izzy, I'm very excited. I don't know if you're still watching, but I'm very excited. It's just like every day during this quarantine, I will say, this is just thank you, Izzy, for some support. But I gotta say, during this quarantine, I was thinking people were like, "What have you been up to?" and stuff. And for real, I've literally in my head I always go, "But I'm fucking doing this cartoon, man." It's like, I've been putting out a lot of stuff. I've wrote a lot of stuff, made a lot of videos, but I'm like, but we're doing a fucking cartoon. Anyway, all right. I'm excited. It's always fun to be a cartoon. I don't give a shit. I've been a cartoon a lot of times, but it's never not cool. I don't care what anyone says. So, Daft Punk. What's going on with this? So, Daft Punk was announced from Dario Argento himself, the man, the myth, the legend. Bye, Izzy. You have a great night. That Dario Argento is directing a movie called Black Glasses, and that Daft Punk is going to be doing the score. So, basically, that's what we thought. That's what we thought was going to happen. We're like, oh, cool, Daft Punk. They haven't made a album since Random Access Memories, Access, whatever it was. Who cares? The big album. Wouldn't it be cool if they make a new? Wouldn't it be cool if they did a new movie score, much like Tron Legacy, which I still hear about that thing. But then, soon after, about today or yesterday, a producer of that movie said, look, we are talking to them, but there's not like a formal deal, and I really wish you hadn't announced that, because we're still like in talks, and like there's a big chance this might not happen, and like I don't know if they actually are doing this. So, basically it sounds like Dario Argento jumped the gun. I think it would be a cooler movie for Daft Punk to do, rather than doing Tron Legacy works, for the iconography of what Daft Punk is. But I just feel like it was, I just think, it wasn't the greatest movie, but I do still hear about it, and I know people really like it. Visually, it's very amazing, but I think this could be cool for them. And Dario Argento has had cool scores before, and I think it'd be a neater, different kind of thing. I wish they'd do more film scores and also made music more often, because it's been way too long. All right, so Alf Clausen is suing The Simpsons because of how he was fired. And the Simpsons claim, the producer Simpsons claim, is because they didn't realize he was sick and couldn't compose music anymore. Was having his son doing it and delegating a lot of duties that they felt that he was doing, and they were unaware of that and were very upset and then fired him because of that. And especially they felt they were doing like some dumb hip-hop episode and they felt he wasn't the right person to do that and it wasn't really working out and they needed to get someone younger and all this stuff. Here's the thing, is like Alf Clausen is very important to what Simpsons used to be, and I think he's a very important part of the Simpsons. And to be honest, I think they should have stood by Alf Clausen. I think they should have had a discussion with him and just said, hey, that's not cool that you did that and like just didn't tell us. That's fucked up. And I agree it is. However, clearly you're going through something. You've worked with us for over 20 years. I would like to just keep you involved as long as you can. But hey, do you want to do like less episodes this year? Can we like have a discussion about that? I understand you're the music guy of The Simpsons, but maybe like this episode wasn't right for you. Let's get someone who's more apt for it. You do this next one. We'll honor your contract. Maybe we'll renegotiate. Clearly Alf Clausen's got money, I hope. I don't know his deal. But I think Alf Clausen, it's sad, but it seems like The Simpsons were trying to be like, he deceived us. That's why we did this. But in all honesty, I think it's something where when I look at that, I look at them as managers and I look at them and go, you should have talked to him and worked something out. Because it's one thing to just say, yes, he deceived you, and I understand that. But it's another thing to say, you've known this guy for 30 years. And instead of looking at what was going on and feeling unhappy and having a more frank discussion, it seems like you just fucked him over. And I think he might have done something wrong, but working with someone and knowing someone and letting, your kids grow up with you and making a name for yourself through something and just throwing them to the wind like that doesn't make me have the highest opinion of you. Now, maybe there were yelling matches and things like that, and, ageism, he's claiming and all this stuff, but I just find it to be a really unfortunate situation. I also am like, God damn it, end this fucking show. Like, Jesus. Anyway, I just don't like any of it. Let me put that. I should have probably talked about this when Izzy was here, but I'm talking about it now, I guess. There's announced a Transformers animated prequel. This is going to be a sort of prequel to the live-action movies, apparently, and this is the coolest part, is going to have the director of Toy Story 4, Josh Cooley. Now, regardless of what you think of Toy Story 4, I still think it was very well directed. I think it's a good movie, and that they are getting someone at this high of talent to direct a Transformers prequel, an animated prequel, is exciting to me. I'm really excited for this movie. This is probably, it seems like they're doing cool stuff with Transformers. I think they realize like most people don't like these movies, and they sort of are trying to figure out ways to make these films interesting again. I think this is a really good chance to do that. I'm excited for it. No, but it said it's not connected. See, I read, I'm going to look this up, Ryan, even though you are definitely the person who sent me this link, and I shouldn't argue with you, but I'm going to look, because I read from a couple places, Toy Story, and he defended Toy Story 4. Thank you, Ryan. I'm going to look, well, God, okay, you're just taking forever to load. Whatever. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Let's agree to disagree. Ryan's awesome. Also, great job Ryan did helping me with the Comedy Central, every Comedy Central ever. Good guy. Ryan's awesome. That's all I got to say. I got more to say. He's awesome. He's a great researcher. He deserves a lot more respect. But the Transformers being animated, I think, is going to be pretty cool. So, there's a Reno 911 Quibi trailer. Reno 911 did not launch with Quibi. It's going to launch later, even though Quibi got in trouble for leaking emails to marketing services and other things, and Quibi is generally just falling off of being important, and even I forgot to talk about it that last week, and I think it's off the top 100 apps chart. It's a total disaster. Maybe it'll exist long enough for Reno 911 to start, but the trailer came out, and it was genuinely great. So I'm excited. I'm still excited for it. I'll probably watch it on Quibi when I still have, I don't know how many days I have left on Quibi, but I'll probably watch it. Maybe I'll review it. I don't know. We'll see about that. So in John Wick news, apparently, so a lot of people, I don't know how many people is know this, but the John Wick directors met Keanu Reeves on The Matrix, the original Matrix. Chad Stahelski, I think, was actually the stunt double for Keanu, and David Leitch also helped do fight choreography on the sequels as well. They're going to come back to help with Matrix 4, which sounds about right. I'm glad they're getting the same creative team. The also interesting thing I learned from this article was that Lana Wachowski is going to... There isn't any second unit. Apparently on most of the Matrix films, the Wachowskis shot all the action themselves. They didn't get outside people to do it. They had collaborators, but they were there, very present. The only time they weren't as much was when they were shooting 2 sequels back to back, and they just had to because of time and money and things were moving. But apparently in Matrix 4, Lana at least is going to be there as much as humanly possible, making sure every action sequence is perfect. But it's cool that they got the directors, both the directors of the original John Wick, back to do that. And I know they've both done that for other movies, notably Birds of Prey recently. But I think that's really cool. I'm excited for Matrix 4 now. And that is actually, this story was the first time I went, Matrix 4, I'm into it now. They got everybody. They should have just said that to appeal to just me. So, how many stories we got? And then, okay. This is an interesting thing about Olivia Munn wrote this week. She said, what was the difference between male and female directors? And she said this about Bryan Singer, about how male directors can kind of fail upwards and succeed in this industry despite their unprofessionalism. And she says, she said this: when we shot X-Men, I never shot a huge movie like that before. I didn't know what was right or wrong, but I did know that it seemed strange that Bryan Singer could check out and say he had a thyroid issue. Continue filming. We're on set, I remember. There's a big scene that we'd have, and we'd come back from lunch, and Bryan Singer apparently had left for 10 days to deal with a medical issue, but kept filming. And one of the assistants would come up and show us a cell phone with a text message in it, and he'd text the actors, say, hey guys, I'm busy right now, but just go ahead and start filming without me. And he'd be like, and we'd be like, okay. I never thought any of it was normal, but I didn't realize the other people also thought it wasn't normal, and the other people who thought it wasn't normal would be people at high levels, people who make decisions on whether to hire this person. So Bryan Singer basically literally phoned it in to direct that X-Men movie, at the last X-Men movie he did, and that's insanely hilarious. That they did that, but yeah, that they let Bryan Singer do some things like that, and then he got to do Bohemian Rhapsody after that. That's the kind of behavior they put up with him. I don't know why, but that explains like why he disappeared and they got to eventually fire him, because he was already getting away with so much. It's just crazy that came out. So, apparently there's going to be Sim and Sin City movies in development at Legendary. This seemed to be more or less of a confirmable thing, but it sounds like something that could possibly happen, so we'll go from there. Adult Swim has a new president who I guess will not get as many angry hate videos from the cartoon community because it doesn't involve Teen Titans Go or Thundercats Roar, so who cares? But Michael Uwilin, who also created Harvey Birdman, I think will be good. He's been involved in the Adult Swim family for a while. I don't expect any kind of people getting mad at that at all. Adult Swim sort of runs like a well-oiled family anyway, so I don't expect much to change. That's why you're probably like, did that happen this week? I totally forgot, and I did too until I read this thing. Michael Madsen gave details about the Vega Brothers movie, which is interesting. I've talked about how I heard that in development for so long, and it seemed like it was going to happen, and then never did. And basically what he said is that it was going to be them in Amsterdam, basically what Vincent Vega was talking about at the beginning of Pulp Fiction, and them running kind of a club there and like working together. But apparently Tarantino has like brought it up since like past when he said they were too old, thinking of ideas of it, and he kind of brings it up to Michael Madsen, John Travolta every now and then, but it doesn't sound like it's going to happen, so that was sort of interesting. Don't forget G.I. Joe. I thought I talked about G.I. Joe, didn't I? Anyway, there's going to be a global film festival brought to you by Cannes and Sundance. It's going to be from May 29th to June 7th. It's going to be called The One. global film festival it's going to stream on YouTube. I'm curious what they're going to play. They didn't really say that. All right. End the stream already. Oh, well, thanks a lot, Eric Peralta. That's not very nice of you. But yeah. All right. So I have 2 more things, then RAPs, and I'm going to go to the bathroom. Then I'm going to review a show called Princess from Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and then we'll do Disney Plus recommendations and so forth. So HBO Max has set a distribution deal with Hulu to... Well, I talked about that at the beginning. So the HBO Max has set a distribution deal with Hulu to kind of be an add-on to Hulu, much like HBO was before. It's interesting that Disney would let that happen, but it did. So that's happening. So if you have Hulu, you can do that. I did talk about Space Jam. That's earlier in the show. Apparently the movie Bad Trip, which I know Will is excited for, leaked on Amazon by mistake for a few hours. They noticed their mistake and took it down. There's apparently no real release date of that, but apparently you can pirate it somewhere, so Will, wink, wink. We lost a lot of major people today. Sam Lloyd, who is probably best known from Scrubs. Unfortunately, John Lafia, who helped write Child's Play, and the one Indian actor who's both from Slumdog Millionaire and Life of Pi, which everyone seems to forget about, Aramf Khan, who died at 53. So we seem to be losing a lot of people, especially right now, unfortunately. I don't believe any of them were coronavirus, but it's still sad. So anyway. All right, so I'm going to come back, talk about Princess, the Trey Parker and Matt Stone web show, and then do Disney Plus picks, and then talk about stuff. Yes, Bad Trip with Lil Rel Howery, not Hannibal Buress. Life of Pi is great. I'm always disappointed. I find it interesting because Life of Pi won Best Director, and you never hear about it. So, anyway. All right, I will be right back. Sorry, I need to take another bathroom break. I think my body's just used to it at this time. And then I will do a segment on Princess, like what I've said before. And, I'm sorry. Rob Gibbs did die this week, and that was very sad as well. Who's a Pixar animator and did a major contributions and was the father of the girl who voiced Boo. I'm sorry about that. All right. I will see you guys very soon. I'll be right back in a minute. And anyway, thank you all for being here. It's always nice being with you guys on a Saturday night. I will be right back. Whoa. Hello, everyone. All right. Who agrees with Knockforce movie with H? I mean, I guess that'd be cool. Canada loves Jim. Thank you, Courtney. Anyway, so whoa. Anyway, have a Zodberg. You have a great night. Thank you for being here. All right, so basically, if you're wondering why I'm reviewing this thing, so every time I do in every show ever, I sort of like to find a quick thing to review, like a pilot or a lost media thing. So Cartoon Network, I did the American dub of Peppa Pig. Adult Swim, I did Welcome to Eltingville. And when I did Comedy Central, I couldn't really find a pilot or a lost media thing that was like good, that great or anything. Although, like, there were two shows we couldn't find any pictures of, Limbo Land and Times May Vary, and I think there was another one, Ryan. And a lot of them it was really hard to find pictures of, which Ryan helped me with, and that was hard to do. Ryan did a great job. So basically, I came to Princess. So what is Princess? And I don't know how many people know what Princess is, but I'm going to explain it. So basically, during the internet bubble in the early 2000, late 90s, 2000, I think the bubble was 2001. These internet companies was the news hole, that's right. These internet companies were basically trying to get big stars involved in projects so they could have a big press release when they went public. And this one company, this one site called Shockwave.com that was produced with, it was basically a Flash, Macromedia, who makes Flash's sister site, Shockwave. And they employed Trey Parker and Matt Stone, who were obviously very hot at the time. I mean, they're still very popular. Were newly hot at the time for making South Park, and paid them $2 million to make a web show. So Trey Parker and Matt Stone basically come to the Shockwave people and say, look, we want full creative and artistic control, and we want to do an X-rated cartoon. What's the point of doing a show with the internet unless you can make it X-rated? They were totally very clear with Shockwave.com. And that's one of the things I want to bring up about the story, because some people act like it was a prank. It's not really a prank, because they're very much very upfront. It's I'm going to do this really fucked up kind of thing, so I hope you're okay with that. And they're like, yeah, totally. And the executives admit, and if you watch, there's this Trio documentary kind of thing. I don't know if anyone remembers Trio. They were all into Brilliant but Canceled. They're a big channel in New York. I don't know if anyone got it outside of there, but they would play this special a lot, which had that in there. And the executives are like, we totally let them do whatever we want. We paid them $2 million. And so what was Princess? So Princess was... So Princess was a show about a little cute dog named Princess, and she's really cute, and you get this nice little theme song. And then each episode would be showing really X-rated sexual humor that would happen within the neighborhood of all these pets. And you only got to introduce Princess, but they're going to have other cute pet names. And you see this cute theme song, but then the first episode immediately starts with this husband and wife, and this husband has an erection, and the wife's trying to give husband a hand job, and it escalates from there. I've noticed of the two episodes, there's only two that were ever made. The episode 1 is not on YouTube, but episode 2 is. So I'm wondering if it's a not safe for work thing. Basically, in it, this guy is really hard and he can't get off. And there's some funny things, they say he asked her to talk dirty to him, and then she's talking dirty a little bit, and she was like, can I take a break? And he was like, no, I'm so close. She was like, I have to take a dump. She's like, what? You said to talk dirty. I thought that was funny, actually. And it was actually kind of funny in its X-rated humor way. It wasn't they have some good jokes, which Trey Parker and Matt Stone are very good at doing humor, so obviously that would be very funny. But they really did push the line on this one, because in the first episode, the guy comes so hard, his wife's head explodes while she's giving him a blowjob. He comes, and then the back of her head explodes. And that's really disgusting. And then the second episode, a guy claims to be the coroner, then has sex with the wife's dead body. So anyway, Shockwave.com is not happy about this. And they send them the episodes. They're like, hey, what did you guys think? And basically what happened, Shockwave.com never sent them a request for any more episodes. And so the two episodes are called Princess Hears a Strange Noise, which was basically this guy and his wife getting a hand job. And then the second one is Princess Meets Officer Friendly, which was this guy who claimed to be the coroner having sex with the wife's dead body. And then the third one, which they hyped up at the end of the second episode, is Princess Finds a Red Balloon, which we never found out. Now, South Park Suicide, I'm currently eating, I'm sorry, cornbread. Now, South Park Studios has said they would make another episode if they were requested, and they're kind of surprised because it was announced originally that they were going to do, was it like 39 shorts that would be 3 to 5 minutes long. They only made 2, and they tried, they wanted to make more, but they couldn't. And they've even said that their whole plan for the show was to make, like, have these cute little t-shirts with, like, princess and all the various cute little animals in the neighborhood, but people wouldn't know what it was. And then when they found out what it was like this really fucked up X-rated show, which is kind of a funny concept. And these didn't actually get really released. They were like sort of get released on weird sites, but Trio fully released them in 2004. So they were kind of like things you'd hear about. And it has been, Idol was here in film school. People would go, oh, they pranked them. But if you really watch and read the interviews, they're like, we were trying to prank some people, but we were very upfront when we're collecting this money from them that, like, that's what we were going to do. And, like, we were constantly like, hey, guys, we're really going to push the line. Like, do it. Absolutely do it. And then the executive in the thing even is like, we were kind of hoping they'd make something a little more mainstream, not as horrible as this. It is messed up. It's very early internet. And I like that, like, so much early internet Newgrounds tried to be South Park. And I like that South Park, the guys who made South Park make a Flash cartoon and they make something that's so infinitely worse and fucked up than any of those things were. And has, like, a mischievous side to it where it's like, oh, it's about this cute dog, but it isn't. It's like, I still kind of think it's really funny. I wouldn't mind if they did another one out of nowhere. I don't think they've done anything with Princess in a while, but it is kind of like just a funny story that this website trusted Trey Parker and Matt Stone to make a new cartoon and didn't realize who these guys were. And it seems like almost all their other shows other than South Park, like That's My Bush and everything, are sort of like pranks in their own way, but they're sort of interesting pranks. Like they make a point. They're like, there's kind of a funny idea behind them. And I think Princess is obviously much more juvenile and inappropriate, but look at Orgasmo. Like, they like making funny kind of like X-rated humor, and I think this goes in line with that. I don't think Princess is the greatest show ever, but for like its 2 episodes and like just going like, holy shit, they got paid $1 million pretty much an episode for this, and that's what they made. That's still like really, really funny. So I still think maybe I'm immature, but I still thought it was kind of funny in a really fucked up, weird, like early Flash sort of way. It's probably one of the better ones of those ever made, but it kind of goes down in infamy as being like this sort of like just like this thing that they got paid way too much money for, that the website shockwave.com just went, I don't want anything to do with this anymore. This is horrible. What the fuck did you make with Princess? So yeah. Team America is awesome. I like Team America. Team America is sort of like a prank too, isn't it? It's like, it feels sort of like a prank. You know what's funny? Bring up the Thunderbirds movie, is they only made Team America with puppets because they heard the Thunderbirds movie was going to be in live action. So actually, Team America is a reaction to that Thunderbirds movie you're bringing up, which is sort of an interesting. Balthazar Brat? Oh yeah, I guess that one. Anyway, they've done a lot of cool stuff, but yeah, it's one of they do a lot of like weird pranky sort of things. But you should check those out. You can find Princess Hears a Strange Noise on Vimeo, and the Princess Meets Officer Friendly is currently on YouTube and the Trio documentary as well, which I will link. I'll probably tweet that out later. Also, before I get on to the Disney Plus recommendations, I wanted to bring up that I did see a documentary on the history of Comedy Central. It's by a really small YouTube channel, and I wanted to share that at some point. So I'll show that as well. Could you review Heat Vision and Jack, Jim, for this? That's a good point, actually. I was just talking about Heat Vision and Jack because we watched the Community episode with Jack Black in it, and I was just telling my wife, like, well, the reason Jack Black's in this because Dan Harmon made... That's a good point. Huh. I'm going to write that down. I don't know if I'll do that next week. I have a different idea for next week, but I will do that at some point. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. That is a good idea, Awesome. When I do that, I will give you, I'm sitting on you and Jack's do the Saddle Rush review. Maybe soon. We'll see. Anyway, I haven't messaged anyone, so it's really just me building hype at this point. All right, so sorry, my nose always gets really itchy at the end. Don't read into that. Anyway, so second segment. No, you don't need to send me. Well, you can if you want to. All right. Will you make a Crackle recommendation list from Zane Powers? I was actually watching Crackle for a certain movie that I'm reviewing this week. I was kind of wondering, actually, I was going to do one of the smaller free ones, so maybe I'll do Crackle. Because I want to do a free one because I know people are hard up on money, and I'm sure as this goes on, it's harder and harder to have a streaming service. So I'll do, maybe I don't know, is that a joke one? How about this? Everyone in the chat, while I'm doing this, write down what your favorite free streaming service is and what you would like me to do a recommendation on. If it is Crackle, put that in there. Or if it's Tubi or FilmRise, which I've thought about doing, but put what your favorite free streaming app is, and I think that would actually be a good one that would be helpful for people. So Zane Powers, man, Austin Zane Powers, you're like changing the world right now. So, not Quibi. How dare you, cornbread? Although I could do that, actually. Maybe I will do that. That's, never mind. Anyway, yeah, put down a Crackle. Voodoo's a good one. Anyway, let me know. Put that in there. Voodoo. Oh, okay, I'm seeing a couple of you. All right, cheers to you. Thank you. That was helpful, Zane Powers. So, doing recommendations for Disney Plus is sort of a weird thing because Disney Plus has so much content that everyone knows. So if you're going to say, hey, what are cool things on Disney Plus? You don't want to be like, hey, have you seen Star Wars and Pinocchio and The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast? It's like the problem with the Disney streaming service is they almost have like huge things that everyone's seen, but you can't really recommend things as well as like Amazon or Netflix, which I've already done, or Hulu or something like that. So it's like harder to do. So anyway, I did go through it and find stuff, and I am going to recommend stuff. I don't think I'm going to do one where I go like, hey, Zootopia's on there. I'm going to try stuff that are harder to find because I think Disney Plus has a lot more interesting stuff than they're letting on, and I wish they'd sort of advertise on their banner more of the interesting stuff because it does feel a little boring. Although it's on every day in my house while Sophie has her like movie relax time during the day. But I know a lot of parents love it, but there's more to it than just that. So, sorry, there's something. Anyway, I do have Hulu, by the way. Anyway, so one thing I wanted to recommend that Sophie and I have been watching and make our way through, and we haven't watched all of it yet, is the Little Mermaid animated show. If you have like a young daughter, it's a great show for that. It's actually good with moral lessons. The one with the killer whale I know is a favorite. What was it called? Nerdwire did a great video about it. I would recommend it. I actually kind of like it for a kid show. I think they do well in it. Princess Bride just got on there, which I think is obviously Princess Bride is great. That just showed up. I think it was this week. I also want to recommend the Ducktales movie. I don't think there's enough love for it. I saw it in theaters. And I really loved the Ducktales movie. But I just thought I'd bring up the Ducktales movie because I think it is really great. The short Flowers and Trees. It's one of the classic Disney animated shorts. It's one of the best Disney animated shorts of all time. You should definitely check out Flowers and Trees. It's on there. It won't take you too long, and you've seen one of the classic pieces of animation. As well as Willow, which is a favorite of mine. I like Willow. I don't know if how many people like it. It is still a fun action-adventure film. It's a good enough of a watch once, and then you've seen it. As well as the Rocketeer. The animated one, to my knowledge, is not on there, and I looked yet when I shot this. But the original movie is, and that's a great movie, sort of making fun of, everything from Errol Flynn to the, World War II, Hollywood, and everything like that. And it's fun if you like movies. It's fun if you like action-adventure films, and it's just a great film, and it's been on there forever. One thing I really like is actually the Mickey Mouse shorts. They started in 2003, the newer Mickey Mouse shorts. Those are amazing. There's one of my favorites is the one where they take Mickey Mouse's ears, and then the sound of the short is actually following his ears, and they don't sync up with what's going on. You hear like several blocks away and stuff. That's one of my favorites. There's one fully in Spanish where he goes to the World Cup. There's so many great, or is it in Spanish? It might not be in Spanish, but I think I don't know. I love those shorts. So if you ever like really want to get into something animated, I think that's a great one. As for what's on Star Wars, the Star Wars section, I would say the Empire of Dreams documentary is really great. Most people quite like it. It's been a while since I watched it, but I saw that was on there. And if you're looking for something to watch on May the 4th that isn't like one of the movies that you've probably seen a million times, that is a good option. They also have a thing called Star Wars Blips. They were really short animated things they made building up to The Last Jedi. I think those are really good as BB-8 and everything like that. Now, it does have the X-Men animated show, and I'm going to probably recommend that next time. But I think most people know the 90s X-Men show is really great. I think they have X-Men Evolution as well. They don't have Spectacular Spider-Man. But I'm gonna recommend two Marvel shows. One is the 90s Fantastic Four show, which I actually think is really great. I loved watching it in the 90s, and every time the theme song's cheesy, but I think they did a good job with it. I know Clone Wars is great. See, here's the thing. I know Gravity Falls is great, everything like that, but I'm sort of trying to recommend stuff on Disney Plus that's like not talked about as much. And this one isn't. The Silver Surfer cartoon, I know it's mostly famous for the King of the Hill meme, and that is funny, but the Silver Surfer cartoon is genuinely really great. It's very late 90s. There were other late 90s Marvel shows like The Avengers, things like that. But this is really cool. It got big sci-fi writers. It had cool, interesting episodes. It was like overwritten for a kid show in the 90s, but it was really, really good. Courtney says Gravity Falls is great. Watch it on Disney Plus. All right. I'll recommend watch Gravity Falls. You should watch Gravity Falls. It is a great show. If you're watching this and you never have, and you need a Disney Plus recommendation, do that first. Thank you, Courtney. Cheers to you. But I would highly recommend, thank you for that super chat, Courtney. I would very much recommend the Silver Surfer show. If you've never seen the Silver Surfer, no, it's okay, Courtney. I'm sorry. That was fine. It was fine. Good job. I'm sorry I feel like when I was shitting on it, you did the super chat, so there's probably this sound thing. So Courtney, you're great. Don't worry about it. But the Silver Surfer show is generally really good. If you've never checked it out, now is the time to do it. You have the time. It doesn't take too long. It's only one season. They didn't get to do more. It has weird early CG animation stuff, but it is a really great show. And if you've never seen that before, I would check it out. So, yeah. All right. So, I saw a lot of Voodoo. I'm getting because I was doing Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes is great. Really? I don't know. I was never as into it, but that's on there. So, check that one out as well on Disney Plus. That would be cool too. Thank you, Austin, again for a super chat. Disney Plus recommendation. Cheers to you. All right, so that is it for the Disney Plus recommendations. You really can't do as many because in a way they're not offering as much content. I mean, in terms of hours, I think they're kind of low. It's just they have so much big stuff that you kind of... It's like it's a great streaming service because you get all these huge movies, but you don't get as much content. They don't have a ton of content. So anyway, those were kind of some like off the beaten path recommendations, a few, and some cool stuff. So if you need something to watch on Disney Plus, why don't you check some of those out? All right, so, and as well as if you're watching this later in the segment, I don't have reviews of any of these. No, I have a review of the Ducktales the movie. So if you want to see my review of Ducktales the movie, check that out. I had an old review of Willow. I'll link that there if it's still. I think it's still on YouTube. I don't know. Check it out. It's from Early Days Jim. All right, so let me do I think there's like 2 Patreon questions. There was 3, but Sin Rams was early. And one from Mail. I'm going to do Mail Tears first because I didn't get to put it in my script, but it is no, that wasn't it. Where are you? Okay, this is from Male Tears, who I'm sure is going to say something about Party Monster, but let's see. Male Tears asks, "Hey Jim, the pandemic has everyone wearing masks, and it made me flash back to Party Monster, of course, when they had the Blood Feast event and everyone wore surgical masks at the club. Anyway, Is there a kids movie you would label as fascist besides Trolls the first one? Oh, I like how you did that, Mil Tears. A kids movie that would label fascist besides the first Trolls. I don't know. I should have read that question before I just did that. I think that I wouldn't say fascist, but I find I actually don't like all the. There's a lot of like. I think I brought it up before in questions. I really don't like all the problems in Toy Story 3 where they constantly bring up Ken and how he's not masculine enough. That bothers me. I don't like that, and there's a lot of that in kids' films. I don't like Illumination. I don't think it's really good for kids either. I don't know if there's anything that's as much of a problem as Trolls. I would say God, what else would I say is probably a problematic kids film? I can't really think of one right now. But you know, I mean, there are various problems with kind of kids films and the messages they show, but that one I thought was pretty bad. I don't think there's another one that's this fascist. But I would say Illumination gets like just they're annoying and like I don't like necessarily the morals in them, which don't entirely match up. I think that are like good morally. So I can't think of an example. There's many times I'm like I don't know if I would show a kid this. So yeah, I guess I don't know if that's a real answer, but I answered it. All right, Niji Kichu. This is a good one, by the way. Niji Kichu does have another fun fact, by the way. Hey Jim, before my question, here's a fun fact. James Cameron called Fox Studios to pitch a movie sequel he wanted to make. Fox Studios said, sure, can you give me a couple minutes? But Cameron says he only needed 30 seconds. On the day of the pitch, Cameron walked into the meeting room with the executive and say, hello, I'm James Cameron. Then walked over to the whiteboard, picked up a marker, wrote in huge letters, alien, and he then added an S to the end to make it say aliens. After that, he put 2 lines through the S, making a $sign, and that's how aliens got made. That's James Cameron for you. Nice, Niji Kichi. I like that Niji Kichi came out with a question. A surprise super fact for you guys. Now for the question. With the whole pandemic thing greatly affecting multiplex theaters, do you have any predictions on what they will do or try to do, or what would you want them to do to bring people back into the seats? Or back into their seats. I think cleaning would have to be much more severe. I think it would have to be quicker. I know they're not cleaning those theaters that quickly. Anyway, it's not something they do a lot, unfortunately. But I wish they would clean them faster, and I think they're going to have to. I think they're going to have to hire more people. There's no way they can't do that. The biggest question has been, like, how are people going to buy snacks? How are people going to be able to buy snacks for like concessions, because that's how movie theaters make the most money, and that's been a question for a while now, and no one really has a good answer for it. I think what we're going to see probably is a weird transitional period. I think they'll probably open around, because I didn't really report it here. I meant to, and I sort of intentionally skipped over, but Christopher Nolan has really been pushing to open IMAX theaters for his movie, and I think they're going to try to make Tenet's release. That seems to be the movie industry really wants it to happen, not because Christopher Nolan has necessarily that much power, but I think he's been so for it, and it's like a point people are making. I think they're going to do that, but I think with Tenet, what they're saying is that when that gets released, it'll be the only movie out, although with Purge 5 I don't think is moved, so that might not be true, but it'll be one of the only movies out, so it'll get more screens, so they'll be able to separate people better. So they might have like every other seat like crossed off, or so you can't sit in it. Things like that. I think that's what they'll have to do at the beginning. I don't think they'll be able to release a ton of movies at the beginning because it'll be harder for people to get out. I'm not even sure if I'll feel comfortable going to the movies. I think I will, just because this is sort of like, kind of my job in a certain way, and I like to keep up with the movies, and I'm a fan. But I don't know if there's a real certain answer. I just think they're going to have to hire more people, going to have to clean more, and going to have to figure out a way to sell concessions in a way that's going to work. And I think, honestly, the movie industry should pay should find a way to give them more money of those box office grosses and help those theaters out, because it's going to be a rough time even the weeks after. And like, what's Thanksgiving going to look like and Christmas going to look like this year? And that's a big time for the movies, and I don't think they have it without that. So we'll see what happens, but it's going to be a rough go of it. And I don't think there's a perfect way to do it, but I think they're going to have to hire more people. They're going to have to clean more. You know, I don't know. Until a vaccine comes out, it's going to be rough. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, not to bring it down. So I think this was the first one. I'm going to go with Zane Power's question. If I skip you in any way, I'm going to try to go for the next 15 minutes or so. Try to go to the Discord channel to ask Jim, and you can ask there. But here we go. Did you see the Parks and Recreation reunion special? I didn't. I sort of want to, and I've heard really good things about it, so I think I will. Yeah. I didn't. I want to, and I've heard good things about it, so I might do that tonight while I'm making the timestamp links for this episode. But we'll see. What has Disney Plus censored? I know they censored the thing from Splash with the Daryl Hannah's butt. I haven't heard of much else being censored. I'm sure there are other things the chat will be, but I know they did that one. Cornbread asks, if you could do an interview on your channel with Zack Snyder, what would you want to ask him? I would ask him why he hates Superman. That's probably what I would ask him. Thoughts on Evo being canceled? Evo? What do you mean? Not sure. What do you mean Evo? Evo? Not sure. Evo. Not sure. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what that stands for. Sorry. Embla T, since they've proven UFOs, what do you think aliens think about Hollywood villainizing and sexualizing them in movies? Also, would you hang and chill and skate and eat pizza with aliens? I would absolutely do that with aliens. I think they'd be sort of chill with it. I think they'd have a good sense of humor. I don't think they'd like certain movies, but I'm sure they'd like the Men in Black movies probably. Ace the Windrider question: what DC character needs their own series? I don't know if I have a good answer because I'm not the biggest DC person, but I think a good Green Lantern show, although they're planning that. Blue Beetle would be fun. Let's go with that. I think that would be good. Question: who can take a surprise, sprinkle it with dew, cover it with chocolate, and a miracle or two? Nice, Ryan. Bruce Parker, when you are totally done with Red Letter Media, will you review Space Cop, or would you be concerned about the fan backlash? I don't know. Isn't that the thing they made, an intentionally bad movie? I guess if it was in the movie review vote, I would, but otherwise I don't think I would. So if someone wants to put it in there, I would, but I don't think otherwise, unless there was some other reason. Not necessarily. I haven't seen it, so. Not plausible. In your profile pic, what movies are going on in the lenses? I think it's I think the Earl said it was either Speed or Black Rain, because I know he likes Black Rain. Black Rain's an awesome movie. I should re-review that at some point. I think I did it for the rough cuts back in the day. Question: DC or Marvel if you had to pick one? I'm a Marvel kid, so it's going to be Marvel. Nathaniel that was from Jordan Bushard, by the way. Sorry, Jordan. Nathaniel Fogel, what did you say about the Space Jam logo? I passed when you talked about it. I didn't really talk about the logo, so I don't know. It's kind of lame. I think they could do better. That's basically what I said. But you can find the timestamp link later when you see this go to your subscription feed later. That's when I put the timestamp links in. Jim is doing Thunderbirds, not Dark Souls, not Party Monster. Nice, Austin. What's the worst movie Nostalgia Critic could review from Zane Powers? Probably Citizen Kane, but I would actually say Bergman, but maybe it would fuck with him, so maybe it's not the worst. I don't know what the worst would be. Probably any of them. Oh man, hold on. I got lost in the questions. Hold on. Hold on. I hate it when this happens because it's hard to. What's your? Oh man, I definitely did get lost there. Hold on. Okay, I think. What is your favorite non-Pizza Party related YouTube animator? I like this guy who did Subway Thoughts a while ago. I don't know if I don't watch as much animation on YouTube as I should, and I know Saber was recommending that show, and I never got to watch it. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm good at this question. Maybe Yukino Joe, I do still like him. So maybe that. I would say that. I hope he didn't do anything weird. It's been a while since I watched him, but yeah. Anyway, sorry, I don't have a good question for that. I need to watch more animation on YouTube probably. Question, why do so many people wish they were kids again and you don't? Because I was a kid and I had fun, but it's like, I think it's weird when people do that. I think people need to move on with their lives and they need to do something else. And there's like a certain point where it's like people, I wish I was a kid again, but it's like, well, what? You were a kid, and now it's time to move on and enjoy the time you're in. So I enjoy the time I'm in. I don't agree with that kind of thinking, to be honest with you. I never got that. It's like I sort of like to, I like reminiscing and being nostalgic, but I like to be happy with where I am. I mean, if I am happy with where I am, which I am, so that's probably why. And by the way, like living in some of that stuff when you're a kid just sort of sucks. You know, it's just like, it's good for when you're a kid. It's good to teach you morals, but the fact that people want that sort of safety net still when they're older is depressing to me. It's like, you get to do so many stuff. It'll be cool. Question, what are your thoughts on Ang Lee's Hulk movie from 2003? I actually liked it when it came out. I haven't seen it since. I, at some point, will review it, but I don't know when, but I probably should at some point. Zane Powers, can you do my final paper for me? No, I don't have the time, but, you know, I wish you the best, I guess. You can send me an outline. Why not? Austin, do you remember talking about MTV The Real World, the one season where they sat around the house on the podcast? Yes, that is Real World London. I love that episode of Real World. I have it on a drive somewhere just because it is actually a really good season. I wish Real World was more like that, but unfortunately it isn't because it was weird and existential and got a little arty. So if you can ever find The Real World London, check that out. It's really good. I should do a video just on that. Thoughts on Toad from the Super Mario Brothers movie? I don't. They just ruined. They just ruined that. I hate that movie. Ugh. Anyway, you'll hear me talk. Anyway, you'll find later. Question from Not Plausible. I know you're not into sports, but because of COVID, marble racing is becoming mainstream, even having crossovers with Formula E racing teams. What other non-sports teams would you like to see? I would like to see a Cruising USA racing. I would be into that. Anyway, Zane Powers. How do you feel about people who see parodies of dark comedies, i.e. one where society is stupid to claim the world is really like that and think tragedies are deserved that happen? I'm a little confused about that. See parodies or dark comedies to claim the world. I just think people like to be overly serious and aren't looking into media deep enough. They're really seeing it as surface value, and if you're just seeing that as a viewer, people do that, that's fine, but when you're doing that you can get into weird traps because not all art and media is made to just be consumed to the surface level. And I think when people do that, and they're not accustomed to the other thing and think no movies or any media should be like that, then they get into these weird traps and think very crazy things. Bruce Parker, if Ken Burns or someone of his generation ever had to make a documentary on any YouTube internet figure, who should they do it about? Probably maybe Philip DeFranco or PewDiePie. I think that's it. I think everything needs to be clean, especially after this whole thing is over. Nice Kit the Mystical. Courtney, do you think a lot of people perceive you as a dad or fatherly figure? Is it weird or do you think it's flattering? I'm sort of just accepting it. I don't really... that's sort of who I am. I mean, I'm dramatically older than a lot of the people in the cartoon community. And a lot of my peers, and I'm sort of just accepting of that. You know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm just old, you don't get it. But, I that's just who I am. So it's sort of like, I'm sort of fine with it. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if necessarily I'm like flattered. I'm just like accepting of the reality of it, I guess. So, what's your regular movie theater order? Reese's Pieces and, a cherry Pepsi. Or some cherry soda, which I actually learned very late in the game. My dad was like, we went to see Infinity War, and he was like, oh, I get cherry soda too at the movies when I go by myself. I was like, oh shit. And like, I never, even though I'd like gone to the movies a lot with my dad, I don't know how that never came up. It's just like really, it's like things, I noticed the things about when you're a kid and your parents are just sort of like your parents and you don't think about what's going on with them. That's how you can miss things. And I thought that was like a cute thing that we obviously had a major thing in common. I didn't realize it. So, what's your, thoughts on Walt Disney? I think he is a interesting person. I think he's, like I said today, a piece of shit, but I do think he was more of a producer than a creative mind. And I think people sort of forget that like the reason he got to be who he is because of a lot of great creative minds. It's not because he was one necessarily. I think he was a great executive. I think he was a smart guy, but without Iwerks is the reason Disney is famous. And Walt Disney just, was a great manager of all these people and understood how to do it, but he was not good at caring for all these people. He was not good at thinking about the future of animation. He was more into building this company and going through whatever weird interests he was in at the time. And I think that was kind of like his fault in a way. So, Nathaniel Fogo, who was the one uploading vids to the Knockforce channel? Because I recall the last upload was in 2017. It was me. And those were the music ones. I know there's other ones that could go up. I don't think we ever made a decision on that, so that might not. It was just kind of a fun way to like get the music out in more of an official capacity, just to like mix things up. I thought it was fun at the time. Maybe there'll be more EPs of the old music that get released that way in the future, but I have no plans really to do that right now. But maybe I should hit him up and ask at some point. Zane Powers, favorite character in The Blind Side? None. Medela Butterfly, have Roombas in the theaters vacuuming and spraying disinfectant? That's not a question, but it's a good idea. I like it. He says LOL. Anyway, any update on the Midnight Gospel review from Austin? I would like to have it next week. I haven't seen that many episodes. But I would like to do it. It's more of just like everyone's here in quarantine. I'm working on a lot of different projects right now, which you've obviously seen. From me helping build the Spyscape YouTube channel to my own YouTube channel, the Saber Sparks reviews, to the anime thing with Izzy, which I obviously am not. I'm not doing. I'm just kind of seeing things because I did my part. But I'm working on a lot of things, so it's taking me a while to do a show. And I'm a little slower. I'm not a real binger, but I'm hoping next week. But it is something I'm definitely considering on doing in the next week. Not plausible. Has the lockdown affected your sleeping schedule? In ways that are probably better because I wake up later and to go to work sometimes on Saturdays, like I'd wake up at 5 a.m. Real talk until this quarantine started. So by the end of this, I would just like literally every stream, I would just be like this in the chair afterwards. I'd be like very tired. So but then I've stayed up probably just as late, but I don't think I try not to go to, you know when I go to bed because I answer the Ask Jim section, but I guess it's affected it in better ways. But since I'm still working from home, it hasn't. I also have a kid, so if I didn't have a kid, I'd be staying up till 5 a.m. and sleeping all day. But I have a kid, so if you have a kid, it can affect your sleep schedule. But I guess it has in a positive way. I don't know why I went on that rant, but now you know that. Pig Pancake, who is one of your favorite people that has appeared on the Pizza Party podcast, like you wish to appear again? So here's the thing about that. Well, first I'd say Saber and Paleo and like my friends, having Ian on was incredible. Was a big moment, I thought. Having Owen Dennis on I thought was pretty cool. But two of the favorite people who I didn't get to be on and I regret, and I wasn't into their stuff at the time. I wasn't like against them. I just didn't know them, was Defunctland and Quentin Reviews. And I fucking wish I got to do those. Also, Nick Wolfhard. He was a lot of fun. I really liked meeting him. A favorite big lip alligator moment? I guess all dogs go to heaven? I'm not sure if that's the right answer, but whatever. Bloxy Oxenwinkle. Best movie that could benefit from an animated adaptation like a Paul Blart cartoon. I actually think that would be a cool idea, by the way. The best movie, I would say Speed. If you did it like crazy, like Midnight Gospel style, it's the first Speed or Speed 2 Cruise Control. I think you do fun shit with that. Okay, Zane Powers. What's better, the warming light of the cooling dark? When will you play Dark Souls? I've never played games, so I think this one is not going to happen, Zane Powers. But I like your determination. Is there a link to that Is there a link to that Discord? Yes, there is. It is in the description down below. If someone wants to post that for Bloxy, you should. Listen to Shoegaze It All from Sinam Sam Satin. I'm not sure how you say your name. I'm sorry. I've had My Bloody Valentine for forever, and I didn't know it was called Shoegaze till later, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I guess I did. I'm not as into it now, but in like the 90s and early 2000s, I used to love My Bloody Valentine's Loveless. I listened to it anytime it snowed. It was kind of beautiful. Zane Powers, how would you feel if they made a Disneyland attraction based on any of the live-action remakes? I would throw up. No, I don't have much attachment to the theme parks because I've never been to them. So, I mean, I'm sure that's something they would do. Ryan Walterson, Evo is for Evolution Championship Series. Still don't know what that is. Sorry. Mandela Butterfly, would the Paul Blart cartoon be him as a kid, Paul Blart Hall Monitor? I like that idea, and it should be. That's a good idea. Panella Circus, what are your thoughts on the new Gorillaz music videos, both the animated art and the music itself? I listened to it a while ago, and it didn't make too much of an impression, but I think I need to give it another chance. So, anyway. Yeah, I don't really know video game stuff. I'm not exactly sure what this whole thing is. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not like... I don't have anything against video games. I just don't really play them, so I don't have much of an opinion on them. Sorry about that. Zane Powers, least favorite superhero? Probably... Punisher. Is he a superhero? I'm just going to count it. Question, should I stay or should I go? You should stay. You should always stay, Ryan. Let's answer... Is there another one? I just watched Butt Boy, a very bizarre film. How much would I have to pay to get you to review it? LOL. If it was in the movie review vote, I would do it. So, however much to do that. Can you feel the love tonight? I just watched this tonight. No, a little bit. Cornbread, opinions on Watto. He is a bit of a stereotype, but I sort of like Watto because of nostalgia. Could you do an impression of someone who still thinks COVID isn't real? I hate when people do that, to be honest with you. I wish they weren't doing that. I just think it's really misguided. Thoughts on... I thought I said a Frank. I mean, it's very sad. I wish... It's unfortunate. Frank, where's my car? It's over there, Nolan. Ryan. Because I saw someone write Nolan. Is Nolan here? Why'd someone write Nolan? I'm not exactly sure. I think that might be it. Let's see. Nick Nitro is here. Oh, cool. Hi, Nick Nitro. I didn't see that. Alright. I think that's it. Question, is Sophie more like Annie or Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka from Sweet Potato Fries? I hope she's not like those people. Anyway. Thank you for being here, Nick Nitro. Alright. Question, ice or no ice in your soda? I used to be no ice, but now I'm ice. That's my evolution. I is Nolan. Nice, Ryan. Alright, guys. I think that's it. I hope I got to you. If I didn't, either put it in the comments of this video, and I'll get to it, or go to the Discord channel if I didn't get to your question. And I will answer it as soon as I can. Probably tonight. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for being here. I thought this was a pretty good show. I thought we did a good job here. Right? Do you think we did good? I think we did. I want to thank everybody who comes every Saturday night. I want to thank everyone who's here tonight. Please check out the Spicescape YouTube channel. It's something I'm helping build with that company. One video I actually narrated and wrote, so you can check that out if you want more content from me than it already is. It's right there, so you can watch it there. As well as what else came out this week? The movie review vote, the Amazon Prime recommendations. There was the Every Comedy Central Ever video, and and the Lost Film File about All Dogs Go to Heaven. So check those out right now if you'd like to. Anyway, everyone have a good night. Stay safe. Stay good. Be careful out there and help other people out if you can. And I think that's it. And subscribe if you would like to. Have a good weekend, everybody. Peace.